I'm still waking up. Now I'm up, got my coffee, and I'm relatively thinking straight now.
Yeah.
So, confidence and egotism, awesome little subject.
Yes.
It really is. It's one of those things where I've dealt with it before. You get recognized for something, and everybody else tries to tear you down for it.
Very much that.
It belongs to me because I breathe air. I'm special.
Right.
Let's go ahead and get this one started. And welcome to the Girls Ask Guys show. We are your guidebook to modern dating and relationships. We show you the opportunities you could be missing and how to avoid pitfalls in today's relationship world. And today we're talking about the difference between confidence and egotism. Before we jump back into that, let's give you a little reminder. If you are ready to get ahead in your love life, visit our sponsor, iknowcupid.com. We also want to thank Chloe Adams for letting us use her song, Kiss Chase, as our new theme song. So with that, let's go ahead and jump back into discussing this thing called confidence and egotism.
So I would say the first thing we want to do is talk about the differences, right?
Very much so, because a lot of people get the two confused. Or if they don't know, they can think one and actually do the other.
We've all known a person who is like self-centered and really couldn't see past their own nose or focus on anything but themselves. They work hard to make sure that everyone sees that they're really strong and that they have all the confidence in the world. And some people are insecure and crave attention. They just need that sense of I'm important, but they need like constant validation for it. And if other people care, then that's all that matters. And it's a great time. And it's kind of gross.
It's one of those where the only way that they see themselves as having confidence is when other people recognize them for whatever they believe they need to be recognized for. But when you have actual confidence, you don't care what other people think.
Yeah.
You know what your own self-worth is. And screw it, everybody else thinks. That's what we've been saying for the last 3 seasons. And apparently we're going to be saying it for the 4th season as well, because confidence is, you know what you bring to the table. And you can care less about what other people think. Either they're going to accept you or they don't. And if they don't, well, you really didn't want to associate with them anyways.
It's true.
You were just secure in what you believe and how you act. And everything shows through that. And egotism is, you need that external validation.
Realistically, I think we all have a bit of an ego towards it. It's not something you can necessarily escape.
I know everybody wants to be recognized for something, but you're not demanding to be recognized simply because you breathe air and exist on the face of the earth.
You probably should have to put some work in. You should probably do something. What do you think? And I mean, if we can go all the way back, when we're all babies and stuff, I think that ego really develops very early.
Well, even if you're in like kindergarten and there's a competition for the best picture, you work really hard on this picture, but this other person, they win. And of course you feel hurt and you're like, well, that should have been me. I don't like their picture. Their picture sucks. Look at my picture. It's so much better.
Yeah.
So you get that egotism. But as we grow and we learn what our talents are and what our natural sense of self-worth is, that egotism can take a step back. But others, it just sticks with them. I know people where I can tell a story or something happened with me, and of course they got to chime in and they have to do this. Well, this is what happened to me.
Yeah.
Like it's that constant one-upsmanship.
Yeah, story toppers.
Yeah. And if people don't like it, then they turn around, they start tearing you down behind your back.
Don't get me wrong. Like, there's a difference between relating to somebody, because sometimes people are sharing stories, like you're sitting around hanging out with somebody, you guys are trading old high school memories or whatever. But there's a clear difference between relating to somebody and really just trying to be a story topper. You could tell a story topper that you jumped off the Empire State Building, landed on one foot, blindfolded, with your, with bat wings, and they would tell you that they landed with no feet, they took their eyes out, and then it wasn't bat wings, it was the wings of a phoenix. That's what story topping is. So
yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of people worry about when they're talking to people. I mean, it's perfectly okay to trade stories, but when you feel the constant need to be better than someone or feel like you have to tell a better story, that's when it's real egotism.
Yeah, it's just that constant need for approval. They have such a large ego for other people to see them as being confident, but their confidence is tissue thin. You can see right through it. Because once something goes wrong, it's not their fault. It's everybody else's fault. But anything that happened right, that was them.
Right.
That's one thing that really just gets me to no end, is when somebody takes all the credit for everything positive and anything negative went to everybody else.
Yeah. It's a weird thing because even when we think about like the show or whatever, I will honestly be like, John is the mastermind behind this whole thing. I talk. And it's not for lack of trying, but it is what it is. And I've seen people who also host shows and they're like, oh yeah, you know, my co-host is this, they're that. And I'm like, well, then why the fuck are you still on the show with them?
Yeah.
Why are you still doing that? If you feel like your co-host is constantly just bringing negativity, what's the point?
Unless you actually design the show to be that way. But
Right.
I don't know too many people that do that.
Yeah. I haven't heard of a headache podcast yet.
Yeah. But even myself, and we've said it on this show several times when we have guests on, we're not the end-all be-all. There are other coaches out there, and they might be better at explaining something than we are. Or they could specialize for a certain area, and that's all they do, and they might be better. I don't believe that, but they might be better at it than we are.
And you might just like them more. There's people who don't like us.
Yeah.
I call them not very smart people, but like whatever, it's cool. You don't have to like us, but there's people who don't like us. There's people who do. And there's people who don't like other dating coaches or whatever, and that's fine. But the ego, you know, the reason that we go more confidence-based than ego is because proven results help a lot with confidence.
Oh, yes. We'll get a little bit further into that, because knowing the difference between what confidence is, because
Right.
you hear it all the time. Just be confident. Okay, well, what is confidence? But then with the online dating community, especially the online dating community, just going through there, constantly hear that all they're meeting is self-centered jerks, or whatever different term you want to throw out there, but it's just littered with people with huge egos. And they constantly have to tear other people down so that they feel more important. And when you take that and you add it to a relationship,
Good God.
relationships by themselves are challenging enough. Yeah, try it with a person that is egotistical and they lack self-confidence.
Yeah, aka a narcissist, by the way. That is like, I think, probably one of the most easy ways to describe a fucking narcissist. Obviously not diagnostically, as in we're psychiatrists or psychologists, because we're not. But that to me, somebody who is egotistical and has no self-confidence, that's a narcissist. And what they're going to do is they're going to make sure that you praise them. They never deliver on anything. And not only that, they're going to make sure that whenever you come down on them, they're a perpetual victim.
Right.
So it's like you need somebody who understands what confidence is. But I think after about 25, that ego really starts to slow down and the confidence starts to kick in for some of us.
Yeah. Yeah, for some. If you discover this earlier, then you just have that much more time to really develop those relationships that you want to develop. Because the thing about a egotist is it's almost impossible for them to congratulate or acknowledge the success of anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Because to them, it's a zero-sum game. There can only be one winner, and that winner is them. There's no other way of looking at it. So the holidays just passed, and now we're about to come into a new year. Forgot to mention that on the last episode.
But you guys know, because you're in the world too.
Yeah. Yeah, so Merry Christmas, by the way, belated. Or
Right.
Hanukkah.
Yeah. Happy holidays. You know what? Happy holidays for the Girls Ask Guys show.
Yeah. Happy Merry Kwanzaa mess. So,
Whatever, you know, seasons, greetings and shit. Yeah, like all that shit to you guys.
yeah. But, yeah, there can only be one winner, and they have to be the best. So anybody else out there, you're not going to get credit for your work because, like I said, this person believes that that should be me. Now add that into a relationship. You can't be number one in the relationship. You cannot be the one who gets the recognition. No, it has to be them. So they constantly have to put you down in order for them to feel like they're number one in the relationship. They get all the recognition. They're the reason that the whole thing is working. But when something happens, it's your fault.
Exactly. And it's really frustrating, obviously. I think we've all had a relationship like that, or we've all even been that person in a relationship, I'm sure, at one point. And when you reflect on it, you realize that all you were doing was just being agitated. You were lowering someone's self-esteem to a certain degree because making someone feel like there's nothing they can do right, they're not better than you, they never have a moment to shine, any of that stuff, like, what's the point of even being with someone if you constantly make them feel like shit, I guess is the best word.
Yeah.
Like, shit is the word.
Then when that person, they don't want to spend any more time with them, then the relationship starts to fail. So what does this person do? They go to their trademark move, which is they're going to gaslight.
Gaslight? Yes.
Yeah.
We need a sound effect for that. You know what I mean? Like, we need a gaslight sound effect.
Yeah, we can probably get one of those. But they're going to go down this road until everything fails. And then it's not their fault. It's everybody else's fault. Not only in their romantic relationships, that's in their personal relationships and their professional relationships. They're going to sabotage that to the point that it just fails.
Yep. And then when it does, and like you said, when it does fail, it's nobody's fault but their own. You meet people who just can't seem to accept the concept of personal responsibility. For instance, if something messes up on the show, you'll never hear me and John go, oh, it's my fault or it's his fault. You know, it's our fault. Unless John breaks the site, which is just a very funny running joke.
Yeah, I just straight up admit that. I killed it.
But, like, that's it. But we're a team. And as a team, it doesn't matter what. It's us. It's not, oh, it's that person's fault. If the show were to go under tomorrow, it's not because John did something wrong, or I did, actually, probably is because I did something wrong. But regardless, the point is John would still say it was an us thing. And when you are with a person who can't do that, you're going to find yourself on the end of a lot of headaches and a lot of confusion because you'll sit there and say, well, I didn't think it was like this, but apparently it was. So if you're dealing with someone with a big ego, I think you should just run, personally. If you want to work on it, obviously go to therapy, but run it.
When they do this gaslighting and they start blaming everybody else, they actually feel as if they have greater self-confidence because they're able to point out everybody else's mistakes except their own.
Yeah.
And I've said it, just go back through all of the episodes. You'll hear me repeat it time after time after time. Yeah, the relationship didn't work. But here was my role that I played that didn't exactly help it move forward either.
Right.
I can look back and I can see where I screwed up.
And that's another flag you want to look for, too, when you're getting into the dating world. If you're talking to someone about their ex, honestly, if you ask me what happened, I'll probably say, well, we broke up because of this. And they say, what did you do? I can clearly define where I messed up. But if you meet somebody who every single relationship, they have done nothing wrong, and they just happen to meet the world's crappiest people, they're lying. I promise you, they're lying.
Either that or they're just that oblivious.
Right. Or they have that big
either
of an
way, that's not the person you want to be with.
Then when we make the transition over to confidence, when you meet somebody who's confident, it may at first come across as egotistical because you're not used to somebody who just believes in themselves because they believe in themselves, not necessarily because they're delusional. You know?
Yeah, and then you wind up being too good to be true.
No, here we go. See, that, my friends, is confidence because it has proven results.
But it does play a small role in it because I just don't back down.
Yeah.
And if you have a history of running into people that are overconfident, not egotistical, but they are overconfident, and then you have somebody who is egotistical, and those are the only people that you're dealing with. And then you meet somebody with true confidence and a given set rule of firm boundaries, it's different. And that's when you start, wait a minute, what's going on here? And that could create some problems, or what's going to happen is that you're going to actually start meeting people that you actually want to meet. You'll start naturally attracting them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very fun, though, when you meet somebody with confidence. I like what you said, like how you're going to, naturally start to attract those people because you'll learn what it means to be confident. Honestly, I think egotism is more natural than confidence. Like, I think as people, we're more inclined to lead towards egotism than we are confidence. Like, confidence is something you have to develop. Honestly, egotism is a lot easier. You can just have this false sense of self, and it's a lot easier.
Well, people are always going to take the easier route.
Hello.
Yeah, it's easier to flow with the crowd.
Right.
So everybody winds up wearing the same thing that everybody else is wearing because that is what is currently trending.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just, oh my gosh, look at the Justin Bieber haircut. Everybody adopted that because...
First of all, okay, Ellen DeGeneres had that haircut first. He just made it pop.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean.
everybody just adopted that hairstyle because the guys wanted to be him and the girls wanted to be with him. Or go back even to the 1980s when Michael Jackson had the red zippered jacket.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody started wearing that. Then he had the single white sparkly glove and everybody started wearing that. I mean, it's easier to go with the crowd than to go against it.
Very much so. Parachute pants are another great example of that.
Yeah, or the hammer pants.
Those are parachute pants. Did you wear parachute pants, Sean?
No.
The ones MC Hammer did.
No, the hammer pants came out later.
Did you wear those?
But nope.
What fad did the 80s suck you into, John?
None. I had already adopted the classic style.
Oh, okay. You're already cool. You're already,
Yeah, I went against the crowd. But the thing about going against the crowd, if you do it correctly and you are confident in doing it, you start gaining attention because you're not doing what everybody else is doing.
Right.
But at the same time, you're not on that outer fringe where you're just like, okay, they're weird.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s, so we had a lot of rap influence in my day. And yeah, it's very, everybody kind of dressed the same. I always adopted the same, solid color, sweatpants, basketball shorts, jeans, t-shirt, solid colors all the way around. Except 7th grade, I had this weird button-down phase. But yeah, you're right. It really does come down to people going with the crowds and everything. And I think confidence is, I think that's where confidence really starts to develop, though. When you finally start to figure out what you like and you just say, I'm going to wear it, versus, hating yourself every day putting on a pair of parachute pants.
Or looking back and going, God, I can't believe I actually wore that.
Well, it was in the 80s, John. We were all doing blow.
Yeah. But you look at it and some people, they look at their high school photos or even their junior high photos. Some people, even today, probably looking at their college photos going,
Ugh.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe why am I wearing that in this picture again?
Aquanet. That's all I'm going to say to all you older people. Aquanet. Okay, we know it existed.
Oh, killed the ozone.
Yeah, you killed the ozone and you looked ridiculous. And glamour shots. You guys took glamour shots. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I was actually a glamour shot photographer.
Oh, God. To be fair, my generation is responsible for consuming laundry detergent.
Well, there's glamour shots and there was Hollywood photo.
Okay.
They both did the same thing, and you got 4 photos, and no kidding, as a photographer, we had 16 different poses. So it didn't matter. You were going to wind up with one of your photo looks like everybody else's, and it's the signature glamour shot photo. So there's no escaping it. So if some of you are wondering, are you egotistical or do you have confidence? Well, we got a little thing that you can actually use to figure that out. And it's really 4 simple questions. The first one is, do you find it hard to establish a long-term relationship? Do you find that you no longer have contact with people you once had a relationship with? Or is it hard for you to hold yourself accountable for your own actions? And then the last one is, do you seek recognition and achievement over establishing a relationship? Now, if you answered yes to those, then that's when you actually want to sit back and start looking at things differently.
Yeah.
That's when you want to start establishing some kind of change. Because what you have to realize is that there's always going to be something outside of your control.
Absolutely.
It could be your own weakness. And if you're not willing to sit back and look and see what your weaknesses are or recognize what your weaknesses are, you're never going to have true self-confidence.
Yeah, I agree. And just so you guys know, it's okay to answer yes to one or more of those things. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to identify what part of your life is the ego taking over. And if you are completely honest with yourself and you're able to say, yeah, I find it hard to establish long-term relationships and yeah, all of these things, then that means that at least you're willing to start the work. So if you hear 2 out of the 4 of those things and you're like, I answered yes, damn, I have a huge ego. And when I say it's okay, I don't mean that excuses your behavior. What I mean is I'm glad that you're here and that you're ready to start working on it. Because this, like every other thing we talk about when it comes to changing parts of you, is work. Understanding how to be less egotistical and more confident is work. And it takes a lot of you being honest with yourself. So if you're here and you're answering yes and you're ready to throw away your egotism and put on your confidence pants. Welcome.
There's nothing wrong with going through a day and then looking back and going, oh, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means I need to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
And when that comes up, that's the best time to decide you're going to make a change. You're going to actually do something about it. Really, acknowledging your weakness is just recognition of your own limits, your own skills, your own abilities, and your own knowledge.
Yeah. And I think that's important. And if you're listening to this and you're like getting frustrated by the shit that you're hearing, or you're like, yeah, I do that, but okay, honestly, stop making excuses, and we are talking directly to you right now. There is no but. You have an ego, and it needs to be checked. If you can sit here and listen to all 4 of those questions and play the perpetual victim, you have a problem. And if I were you, I'd keep listening, because I think we're going to teach you a little bit on how to try and fix that.
Right. So when you run into that, and then you decide that you're going to change, and you're willing to take that challenge to become more comfortable with admitting your own vulnerabilities and accepting that vulnerability is a strength, you're actually going to gain real confidence by achieving success in your own abilities. Ask just about anybody. When you can be a little bit vulnerable, that attracts somebody.
Yeah, not for nothing, vulnerability is sexy. Just so everyone knows. And that's universal. That goes between men and women, gay, straight. Vulnerable people are sexy people. So if you're like, why am I not coming off as sexy? Because you're not vulnerable enough. The more vulnerable you are, it shows a part of you that people need to see.
They're like, I want to know more.
Yeah, it works. Trust me.
Yes.
That's how I get past really terrible first dates. I'm a vulnerable person. No, I'm just kidding. But for real. No, but for real. Seriously, guys, vulnerability is sexy. So if you don't want to change your ego for any other reason, it's because it probably will get you laid.
Yes. And confident people, they also have the knowledge that their strengths can be used more effectively when applied towards improving a particular area. So they're using their natural talents as a strength to excel, whether it's correcting something in your personal life or applying it to your professional life.
Yeah.
My natural talent of not stopping until I consistently get repeated answers helped me in my job. I was able to get promoted really quick, pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah.
But because I went in and I was like, this is a problem, it needs to be fixed. And then I presented that problem in a way that upper management can go, oh, yeah, okay. Because I didn't just go in there and complain like a lot of people do. I went in there and said, here's a concern, here's a solution to that concern, and here's how I validate it.
Yeah.
And they're like, cool. And I just kept doing that. And I got a lot of things turned around and fixed.
And that's what it takes.
Yeah, that's what a confident person does. You recognize your strengths, and then you effectively use those strengths and apply them towards improving different areas. Now, I didn't go in there going, okay, if I do this, I'm going to be employee of the year, and I'm going to get promoted, and everybody's going to love me. That wasn't my intent. I went in there and said, this needs to be fixed because I saw a problem.
And that doesn't mean you're going to be confident without nervousness or fear. I'll tell you, confidence is something that you have, and you understand that, like John said, he goes into work, he says, this needs to be fixed. Now, the reason he knows it needs to be fixed and how to fix it is because he has repeatedly probably ran 7 million scenarios in his head. John is literally a robot, by the way, guys. Like, literally, he probably ran every single algorithm in his head and said, this is probably the best way to do it. Does that mean as soon as he walked in his boss's office, he sat down, he kicked his feet up, lit a cigar, and was like, here's what we're going to do, Felix? No. And there's still that feeling of, well, they might say no, but confidence is knowing that even if they say no, if you're walking into a situation where someone's going to say no, at least you had the confidence to go and try. That's what confidence is. Confidence doesn't equal success. It just gives you the extra support you need to be successful.
Right. I've gone in there and presented several things. They may or may not have adopted the whole thing as I laid it out. Or they could have just said, that really doesn't fit with our end goal, but we can use this little piece.
Right.
Some of it, I did hours and hours of work and went in there and said, here's the problem. Here's a solution that I think might work. And they're like, nope.
Right. Exactly. Like, so what? Like, they said no, okay?
They could have said yes, but I don't know until I ask. But that's just one of those scenarios.
Right. Confidence doesn't fear rejection. It understands it's a part of life. So,
Yeah.
Now, again, don't get me wrong. That doesn't say you aren't going to be nervous, and it's not a little bit, it's nerve-wracking. Anything, whether you're going to your boss to present an idea, you're calling a friend, you're calling someone who you're potentially dating, any of that stuff, like, all of that stuff is scary. But that doesn't mean you don't follow through because you feel like you're going to fail.
Right.
You follow through, and you say, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then if it doesn't, and you feel like crying, you cry.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you are a failure.
Right.
Don't misinterpret it, okay? It didn't work. Doesn't mean you quit. It just means I need to come at this from a different angle.
Exactly. Different angle. There's multiple ways to see the world.
Yeah. And then the other thing that you can do is work on finding things out about other people and then helping them, even if you're not sure that you're going to get any kind of recognition, because you may not get any recognition. But confidence helps people in being self-assured. So when you have true confidence, how you view your own body image, how you make eye contact with people, how you go about talking to people and giving advice or support to coworkers is all going to change. And people are going to want to spend time with you instead of like the only reason that they're doing that is because they want some kind of recognition.
Exactly. People who are confident, you want to be their friend because you don't have to worry about them telling you how they're the best. If you're one of those people, by the way, you're annoying as hell.
Yes.
Like, just so you know, you are annoying. Being egotistical, usually I will tend to say there's nothing fundamentally wrong with anything. But if you're one of those people who has to be the best, who's always story topping, who's constantly needing validation, constantly reminding everybody that they're the richest, the smartest, blah, 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 you are fucking annoying. And this is your intervention right here. And if you have someone like that in your life, pause this, call them, run it back, and play it for them. You are annoying.
And extremely draining.
Draining. I mean, my God.
Especially if you have to work with those kinds of people. Because every time they come up, you just look at them and you're like, here we go again. Please let something come up so I can send them away.
Right. Or like you see them walk in and you go, oh God. It's like Monday, so they've had the weekend of a lifetime. They've slept with every hooker in Vegas. They married Kirsten Dunst or something. Like they did something just outlandishly annoying when really what they did was they probably just watched some porn and chatted with a woman online. Because people think he goes like, right, yeah, basically. So you're like, oh my God, here this person goes. But yeah, when you're confident, people want to be your friend because it's like I can actually talk to this person. It's fun to have a conversation with them. It's not draining.
Yes, I told you about that new shirt that I got.
Mm-hmm.
The loud purple and pink one.
Yeah.
Well, I also got a loud yellow and blue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's primarily a yellow shirt, but I've got blue highlights to it. People love those shirts, and I get a lot of compliments on them because not everybody is willing to wear those. And then they find out that I designed those, and they're like, oh my gosh, but I can put those on and I can go into work and I don't care.
Right.
And because of that, and the fact that these are like extremely loud shirts, people, they come up and I love that shirt. When are you going to wear that? I get requests to wear those shirts.
I bet
I'm not kidding you.
Like, I bet. I fucking bet.
Yeah. One of the girls, she's like, I really like that purple shirt. And said, well, tomorrow is the yellow shirt. And she's like, but when are you going to wear the purple one? I was like, yeah, that'll be Saturday. But I don't work Saturday. Well, sorry.
Get on the schedule.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
And the day that I was wearing it, we have a new restaurant that opened up. So everybody's wearing shirts promoting that new restaurant to let everybody know it's now open in there. And some of those shirts are purple. And I'm like, look, we're matchy-matchy.
Right. We're in purple. I got you. I support you guys.
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff. Like I said earlier, it sets you slightly apart from everybody else. Yeah. You're not doing what everybody else is doing. Because around here, it's T-shirts and cargo shorts.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what everybody's wearing. But you come in and you're not wearing that. It's kind of like you go to buy a car and all you have are white cars sitting out there. And then you got this blue car sitting in the middle of the lot. Where does your eye go? To the blue car.
The cheapest car. That's what.
Here's one for $5.
Right. Why? Where's the one without the comma in between the numbers? That's what I'm going to pay attention to.
Yeah.
No, but I know what you mean. And it's true. Like, again, when you're confident, you wear whatever I wear whatever I want. Literally, if I want to wear pajamas, I'm wearing pajamas. And if I'm going to Let's say I was going to the Met Gala and I was like, you know what? I'm going to wear pajamas. They might not let me in, but I'm going to wear pajamas. I don't really care. And that's kind of the thing. When you're confident, you don't necessarily worry about what other people are. Obviously, if I go to the Met Gala, I would dress appropriately good. But you don't care about what other people are going to say. You're comfortable in your own skin. And when you're comfortable in your own skin, you don't have to prove to people that you're comfortable. When you're good at something, you don't have to go out of your way to prove that you're good at it. You're just good at it.
Yeah. People just going to naturally notice you for what you are doing.
Yeah.
And you don't have to sit there and constantly work at trying to control what other people are thinking or saying about you.
Word.
Which is easier. You don't care, but people recognize you for your innate talents and you are good at what you do without having to scream it from the rooftops. Or you can sit there and try to control the discussion about what other people think, what other people say, and trying to find faults and tear down other people, which is less work.
And confidence doesn't mean meek either. So you can still talk about how you're good at things.
Oh, yeah.
And still not be an egotistical maniac. So don't say, oh, well, I think I should tell someone what I'm good at. Absolutely. You absolutely need to be proud. If you, listen, I don't care what you accomplish. If you accomplished it, you need to be proud of it. Whether it was the first kid in your family to graduate high school or the last kid. Regardless, you graduated. You need to be proud of that. But what you don't need to do is make everyone else feel like they're shit because they didn't do what you did or they're doing something differently than you are. That is where it comes in. You don't have to be meek. You don't have to be timid.
Yeah. What I do is, was not last week, but the week before, we found out that we were number 33 in the world. Yeah, we are world ranked. We're in the top 50, which is friggin' awesome. Never thought we would get there. But yeah, I go into work and people are asking me, so what'd you do on your days off? Let's see, I rebuilt the website, wrote several articles, rewrote several articles, recorded 2 episodes, edited, mixed, and mastered those. I'm going down this list of, this is what my days off look like.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh, how's that going? Well, we're launching season 4, and yeah, we found out that we're number 33 in the world.
In the world.
I just dropped it in, but I'm not sitting there going, so what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Or, do you like it? Do you like it? I'm not doing that. I just like, this is what I found out.
Yeah.
And I left it at that. And then they're like, really? What's your podcast about?
Yeah,
what's
right?
your name? Yeah.
I didn't even tell my family. I just told the person I was trying to sleep with because I thought it was pretty impressive. But that's just me. Like, I'm going to do stuff like that. And you should do stuff like that. If you have accomplishments and you're interested in someone, you should share them with them because accomplishments are sexy. What isn't sexy is
running down the entire list.
Right. Like, oh, yeah, we're 33 in the world. Do you have a podcast? Nope. Don't talk to me.
Yeah. Were you interviewed by magazines?
Right.
Is your stories covered on NBC, ABC, Fox News, and all that? No? Okay, well, hold on. I got some more stuff for you.
Exactly.
Not only did I write a book, but I also designed all my clothes. That's a turn off.
Right. And you just got to do it casually.
Just do it casually, and if it comes up, it comes up.
Oh, it didn't come up. I said it.
If it doesn't, wait for it. I've done this with, there's this one girl at work. I've talked to her for over a year, and I no longer have to wear the uniform that they issue everybody because I got promoted. So I can wear what I want. She saw that purple shirt, and she's like, I like that shirt. And it's like, really? She's like, yeah, where'd you get that? And I said, I designed it. You what? And I was like, yep, here's the initials right here. See, jacket, yeah, name embroidered right there. Designed both of them.
You have your name embroidered on your clothes, dude?
Yeah.
That's badass, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, that's badass as fuck, dude. I didn't know it was that serious. I knew you designed them, but I didn't know you had them like embroidered and shit. That's cool, man. I fuck with that.
Yeah, and it's got my signature embroidered into it. But she didn't know that. So this is like over a year later, and she just now figured out, because it never came up in conversation, I wasn't going to just drop it in to try and impress her. But it's just that little bit of extra mystery that, oh, my goodness, I did not realize he designs his own clothes.
Yeah, no, that's what you got. Me personally, listen, sometimes, okay, so here's what happened with me. I said, your story is going to be featured on the number 33 dating podcast in the world. Literally what I said. Like, nonchalantly, and I said I left your name out because I'm polite and, I don't I don't name it. But, like, it was just it wasn't even like, I'm not going to say it was, like, cool or whatever. I was just being a snarky asshole.
Yeah.
Which is something people come to expect from me. But it wasn't something I led with. It's never something you lead with. Honestly, because then they have a bunch of questions, and then when you start trying to date somebody, you have a dating podcast. I think they expect you to be great when you're just all right sometimes.
Yeah, and that's why I always work in, look, I'm not perfect. I'm going to screw up. Regardless of what you think now, give me time. I'm going to mess up.
Do not listen to that show and say, well, Ashley on the show said this, because I can guarantee you, I already forgot what Ashley said. That is podcast Ashley. This is human Ashley. Two different people.
Yeah, we need to remind ourselves. We just go back and replay.
No, seriously, I did have to do that for a couple. I was like, what should I do in this scenario? Let's go to Ashley and John. And I was like, wow, this Ashley is really smart. I should listen to her. Seriously, guys, if you have any questions about egos or anything, talk to us.
Everything that we have, we're able to back all that stuff up. And if you're really struggling with this, you're going to want to listen to a couple future episodes because we're going to be dropping the course.
Yeah.
And this is going to be limited because we're going to be looking for some founding members, people that can come in, give us their feedback, let us know where we need to improve it.
Exactly. Unless you slept with us. If you ever slept with any of us, you can't be a founding member. You have to wait for full price.
Well...
Unless you try to sleep with us again, and then in which case it's cool. I don't know, guys. I've drank a lot of cough syrup the last 2 days, so excuse me. But seriously, we want you to listen. We want you to write in. That's the whole reason that we engage in social media in the first place. This needs to be something where we can help you, and you can tell us where you need to be helped. It's not even a thing of shame. As you know, we always cover people's names up. If you don't want your name, we'll call you whatever you want to be called. If you want to come on the show, you know that's always an opportunity for free coaching. And if you really, really, really want to hear a topic and you really say, Ashley, John, this is exactly what I'm struggling with, we will always make time in our schedule to make sure that your story or your question is featured.
Right. We'll definitely be able to incorporate a lot of that real soon because we're going to be testing some new recording platforms.
Yeah.
We are trying to make it so that people can come on the show while we are recording the episodes. And that stuff, it's going to be on the new site. It's going to be in our live section, where you can see our calendar, everything that we've got going on, and when our normal recording times are. So you can literally click a button and jump in.
Hang out with us, man. You get to see how the magic is made.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
Unedited and raw.
Girl, that's got your raw edition. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, as always, guys, thank you so much for listening to the Girls That's Guy Show. And, of course, huge thank you to Chloe Adams for letting us use her song, Kiss Chase, is our theme song. And I'm sure you can go find it if you just simply Google Chloe Adams and Kiss Chase. Thank you for everyone listening. Thank you for all our supporters. Remember, we're shooting for number 25 in the world this season. So, with your help, number one, ideally. Yeah, number one, ideally. But we're shooting for 25. If you guys get us 24, maybe we'll have a pizza party or some shit. But if you like the episode, make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell your mom, tell a friend, tell anyone you know in a really shitty relationship because we'll make them laugh. And then if you really, really liked it, make sure you go over to podcasting.com and leave a review. If you have any questions or you want some coaching, you can always over to head to iknowcupid.com, our wonderful, beautiful sponsor. She's very, very smart, might I add. And remember, the more you expect from yourself, the more you'll excel.
Yes, and with that, we will talk to you on the next one.